Hello everyone, Chrisa is here, and today we're going to be working more on boleos. So I know that we don't use boleos that much because they are not the element that you want to see on a crowded dance floor. However, we are not using them here as a step. So we're not practicing boleos as a step. We are practicing the freeing up the leg through boleos. So we're just using the boleo as a tool. Don't focus too much on the boleo itself. Just focus on letting the movement flow and on allowing for the free leg to really be free, but without being dead weight. So there is more to come on that, on really freeing up the legs, in the next videos. So if you have any questions, any trouble that you might be having on the dance floor or in your practice, send those in and we can tie everything together in a video that can help us all. Till then, enjoy. So we're just gonna start with moving the leg, and you can do this standing, of course, or even on the floor. So one side is staying stable. So if you're standing on one leg, that is the one leg is holding your weight, and the other leg is moving, and it can be a small movement in the ankle, or it can be larger movement like I'm doing here. So I would suggest you start small and then build your way up in many ways. So possibly maybe start from the ankle with small maybe circles or flex and point, and then take it to bigger movements where like I'm doing here. So kicks and twists and movements that make you explore the limits of your balance. So right here, as you can see, I'm off balance, change legs. So you want to be in a position where you are not consumed by the element of balance. Don't worry if you have to shift weight and you don't get to do all the movements that you had in mind. That's not important. What is important is to find the freedom in the free leg. That does not mean that it is dead weight, that you have to pull it around, but it means that it is free to move. All the joints are free to move, and maybe falling off balance is part of that movement. So try to avoid getting fixated with that, staying on balance as much as you can. That's not the focus here. So the second thing would be to explore different movements. Yes, this is a video for boleos, but since we're not doing boleos that much on the dance floor, I'm not sure if they are fundamental enough or used enough to require a special kind of practice just for the bolero itself. However, the fact that one leg is free to move around the other leg off the ground is not something that we often get in tango. It's something special, and that gives us an opportunity to explore how the leg moves in that situation, and to get all the information into our other steps. So try to find that freedom here, the freedom that you are hoping to have in a bolero. You can even hold on to the wall or to a table. It's not important. The freedom of the leg is important. So, a more technical exercise. So this is an exercise that I've been doing for ages, and it was introduced to me by my teacher when I was just starting tango. And it involves a gancho, forward boleo, back boleo, and a saludo. So as I'm here just using moderate intensity, so not too intense, and you can keep things lower if you like. So feel free to tone it down even more. I've just started like that just to, you know, up my game just a tiny bit more from what we were doing last week. So the idea here is that basically we have the same kick, the same kind of motion, only in different directions, and of course with different leads, but that is not the element we're looking at. So it's the same kick, and it requires the same freedom as a bolero. The gancho and the bolero are similar in that way. So that's what we are exploring here, the different vectors that we have and how we can go from one to the other, so the transition from one to the other without getting tensed up, but instead, as you'll see, I'm going to be increasing intensity. I've already have. How can you keep those transitions smooth, keep your body relaxed? And this is a great exercise to explore that. Not tensed, but not dead weight. So the leg is relaxed, it is ready to move, and it's not wasting energy, so there are no glitches in the way, but there's no tension. So try to find that, and don't worry at all about how high the leg goes. That's not important. You just establish that smoothness, and once you do that, you can play with the intensity of the move itself. So, and a little bit higher, and to get the leg higher, you have to, play teeter-totter with your body. Oftentimes, because we feel stuck we think that we need to keep the posture no matter what, we get into the lower back. That is something to be avoided. So please only go here if you feel that you have a good understanding of that teeter-totter effect that you need to create. So going back to the center, the anatomical center we've been talking about in the last couple of videos, that spot that's somewhere that's between in the transitioning phase of the thoracic into the lumbar spine, and everything somehow connects around and through it. See if you can manage the movement through there. That could be a point, a good point of reference. And last but not least, you play with the different intensities. So the last variation for this exercise, you want to see for each of these, how much energy do you really need? So if you don't want spillover from a high gancho into a low back boleo. If it's low and things are slowing down and becoming more mellow, and you just want to catch that mellowness, the smoothness in the movement, in the music, with your movement. So and the opposite goes for if there is an intense moment in the music, and you want that to capture that intense moment, you don't want your movement to be affected so much from what you were doing before or after. Of course, there is the transition phase and the preparation phase, but that is to be thought about. But try to see how you can play with the intensities here. And so let's see what happens when you put the ochos into the game. And of course, you can always go back to this, keeping things low, similarly to what we did last week. You don't have to go high if you don't want to, but still focus on that element of freedom. So how high the leg goes has absolutely nothing to do with it. Finding that freedom in the leg is essential for tango and for any other part of your life, actually. Not to have tensed hips, tense lower back, and tense legs, and so on and so forth. So try to find that. And if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, you can start bringing the legs up, as we're going to be doing in just about now. So pick and choose from the different intensities you were working on right before. So it can be a really high one that you did, or something a little bit lower, and anywhere between that path. So any type of boleo will work for this case. One thing I want you to think about, because we will be talking about it in just a couple of minutes, is how and why do we get there? Why do we even have to do a boleo? And this is what all this was leading up to. The boleos have nothing to do with the speed. So you can go as fast as I'm going, or you can go slower, or you can go faster. It's totally up to you. But the boleo is not related to speed. So as you can see, my speed doesn't change when I'm doing the boleo, when I'm about to do the boleo. It also doesn't have to do with powering through it. Of course, if especially it is a higher one, you will be feeling it here that you need a little bit more support from the upper body and the hands. But it's not it shouldn't be a power-up moment. So why do we use boleos? Why do we have them? Well, it's simple. It's a change of direction. Only it's done in a fancier way. So let's see this a little bit more in a more specific way. So here I'm doing back ochos. What happens with the back ochos? You step back, the free leg comes in. If you keep going, you do a pivot, and you step back again. So it is the pass through of the free leg with a pivot in combination. If you stop here and reverse that pivot, you're gonna go into forward ochos. You don't need to lift the leg up. You can keep the leg down. But it is that change of direction that I was going back and I change my mind and I go forward, or here, the reverse, that creates the opportunity. Here we go. So let's see it here. If I'm coming from a back ocho, I can continue and step back, or let's see, I'm coming back, I don't continue, and I reverse. So let's see what happens in the upper body in a similar situation in the forward ocho. So in a forward ocho, I could just step forward and do my forward ocho, or reverse and go back. So if you catch that moment, which is, let's see, which is right here, and reverse it, that is the moment of opportunity. That is the perfect timing, right here. And all that ties in together with what we've been working on all this time. So you start with leg swings. When you're ready, you take a forward step. You continue, no change in the upper body. So we're going to obviously continue forward. Again, no change in the upper body. As the free leg comes in and it's about to swing again, that is the moment right here to change your direction with a pivot. So here you're doing forward ochos. You step, the leg swings in, and I continue. So this is your moment. Are you going to continue? Yes. Or are you going to change your direction? So that is the moment of opportunity. The same thing happens in the back steps. At a pivot, you have a back ocho. So here the leg continues and it continues. So that was the moment where you need to decide. That is the transitional moment where here I won't continue and I'll go into a pivot. And again, that moment when the free leg swings through, again, that is the right moment to decide if you're going to continue or if you're going to change your direction.